It's the Vegas Toy SquadCast, starring Vegas Toy Squad. Hey, what's up? Rob here with Rick and Frank and our special guest, BobaPat.
How's it going?
We are Vegas Toy Squad, and we're here with the SquadCast, the actual second ever SquadCast.
That's right.
But this is number 3.
I don't know. We just had this conversation off camera. It lasted about 5 minutes. So whatever number this is, I hope you enjoy it.
What's exciting? What's going on? Frank, wait.
We have to introduce Frank. He was in our last episode.
The third member of the squad.
That's right.
Who wasn't here for our inaugural episode. And before we get to Frank, we have to give a shout out to our director, producer, engineer, Patricia, the lovely Patricia back there.
Behind the scenes,
making sure everything runs smoothly. And so Frank,
if it doesn't, in the comments you can put at Patricia.
Nice.
Very concisely, Frank, say hello and just tell us about the last month in your life, just very briefly.
Holy cow, I don't know. Very briefly. So I stopped a trip to Italy. My girl's mom got sick. We got married. Her mother passed away. I went on a trip and I up to Glacier National Park. I got chased by grizzly bears. And
you turned 40.
I turned 40 as well, yeah, and somewhere in between there. So it was pretty crazy, yeah.
Frank.
You can have your own podcast, the FrankCast. Frank podcast.
I probably could. I don't know how many people would be interested in that, but
well, based on that, that's
I guess it is kind of interesting. It's
better than some of the TV shows that are on right now.
You make a good point. I didn't have any writers. So anyway, it's nice to see you guys or meet you guys. Hello.
Right on.
Very good.
And sitting next to me is BobaPat, a renowned toy photographer, master of Instagram toy photography. We actually met at Amazing Toy-Con? No, Super Toy-Con.
Super Toy-Con.
Super Toy-Con,
yeah.
Vegas Toy Squad, we had a booth, and Pat came by and bought something.
Bought a 2,000 Leagues Under the Sea diorama.
Yes,
right.
That one was really cool.
That was
Lots
cool.
of cool
that one.
accessories,
That was cool.
and you can use it as it is, or pull it apart and
Mm-hmm.
use the floor as a wall, and all kinds of cool stuff.
So then I was scrolling through Instagram looking at toy photography pictures, and I saw BobaPat, and I'm like, wait a second, I think we met this guy. And so we hooked up that way, ran into each other at the last Comic-Con.
Amazing Comic-Con.
And so for this episode of the SquadCast, we decided we wanted to talk about a little bit about some collecting, but also some toy photography and how the two kind of go together. And
It's inevitable.
Yeah.
If you're into one and you see someone doing the other,
Yeah.
It seems like toy photography has really taken off. It seems like every time I discover one Instagram page, there's like suddenly 4 or 5 other suggestions.
Right.
It's like,
Well, I mean, I'll go on a lot, and you'll see these people that they're obviously new. They only have maybe a couple hundred followers and stuff, and you look at their photos, and you're like, why isn't this guy like one of these that everyone's heard of? You know what I mean? But I mean, just the way the toy community and the photography community is on Instagram, it's like just give them a month or two, and they're going to be intertwined in everyone's going to be talking to them in DMs, and I mean, I talk to more people on Instagram than I do through text or in person or any of that. I have a lot of good friends that I've met through just photography and toy collecting.
Yeah.
And it's cool too because it's growing up and stuff, you might think, I'm kind of nerdy and this and that, or a little ashamed for a girl to come over.
We
and
never
see a
think that.
collection or whatever, but. I mean, it's become like you said, it's blowing up. It's like it's becoming the cool thing, like almost like the movies and stuff nowadays that are all the stuff that we grew up loving. That was the nerdy stuff. It's like all the hot girls and everything. Like everybody likes the Marvel movies and stuff now. It's
suddenly we have power when it comes to conversations. Oh, you want to know about Thanos? I'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, he's snapping your fingers over here. You go blink them out.
So is Instagram really the best format for that? Probably really for a photographer, that's the best way to get your work out there.
It is one of the best. They do take a little bit of the resolution out of the photos. There's a couple. There's one called 500px that I was on for a while, but it's hard to get that entire community from Instagram to join up on another one and do that daily too. You know what I mean, and get that rolling.
That is the one frustrating thing about Instagram is this: you want to see all the work that goes into these pictures, but you can't even zoom in.
Right,
You know?
And it gets all grainy. It'd be cool if they gave you an option, to full screen it or turn your phone sideways and get the full res, but I'm pretty sure they take that resolution out as you're uploading it, so it's it's not even there to see.
Do people do Flickr still?
I don't know.
Nobody heard of Flickr?
I remember Flickr. It was like the photo bucket days,
Yeah.
Is that like with MySpace?
Yeah, it was like the same time.
Was it? Okay.
Same time.
When Eva was in photography in
Yeah.
high school, she had a Flickr.
Oh, okay.
So that was like, 5-6 years ago.
That was the way to share pictures. But you could see them. But of course, that was before everybody was really on their.
Well, and it
Now
wasn't.
everything you see
Everything's
is-
on your phone.
Those
yeah,
weren't
so
really
small
social
format.
media formatted either.
Yeah.
It was more just like a place to store your photos, and you could link people to it if
Right.
you
Show off your work,
Right,
but
right.
not necessarily interact with
Right.
people.
my portfolio.
Yes.
Right. So Instagram is really it now.
Yeah.
Like Facebook, but Facebook is, people use that for personal reasons mainly.
Right, right. I do feel Instagram's more like people's just their interests and stuff. The movies they're into, or the sports teams, or the bands, or whatever.
Yeah, that's what my Instagram is mostly just pictures of my toys.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have an Instagram. I actually have to use my girl Celia's to go look at stuff because
There's
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of cool stuff out
I don't
there.
have anything to
There
put on
is, yeah.
Instagram, so I just haven't gotten onto it yet.
Yeah.
With the toy photography and stuff, what came first, the toy collecting or the photography, or did it just kind of meld together?
I mean, I've been collecting Star Wars as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
As a little kid watching it, playing with my Millennium Falcon and stuff. And I mean, I collected all kinds of stuff when I was growing up: Ninja Turtles, Marvel,
Yeah.
you name it. Batman, everything, Power Rangers. And then it just became a point, kind of, I would say maybe like 8 years ago or so, where I was getting more and more into collecting Star Wars, and I was like, I need to get rid of this other stuff. Some of it's worth some money,
Right.
Some of it's priceless to me, but I can't afford to collect all this stuff.
Yeah.
I want to narrow it down to Star Wars at least, which is hard enough. It's big enough
Right.
realm
I know,
of
yes.
collecting as it is. You got the high end, the low end,
The low
everything
end,
in
everything in the
between.
middle, yep.
Character.
Yeah, character collections, which.
So I mean, I would say my Instagram came about because of that. I was selling off. I even got to selling off like my 3.75 scale Star Wars because I knew I wanted to get into the Black Series were coming out at that point. I just picked up like the first wave, and I was really getting into Sideshow Clone Troopers and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, it's gonna be hard. It's probably gonna take a couple years. I'm gonna dwindle my whole collection down, sell off, trade everything, and I did. It took like 2-3 years, but now my collection's back up to looking full again.
Yeah.
But it's all higher end collectibles, statues, Gentle
Yeah.
Giant, stuff like that. But yeah, so the Instagram basically came about because of that. I met a guy in town I was selling some stuff to, and he's like, "Oh, you on Instagram yet? You should get on there. There's a big Star Wars community of toys and you name it, you know." So I got on there, and at the time I was doing a courier job, so I was driving back and forth to Arizona every day, like 350 miles a day.
Jeez.
Beautiful scenery, like
Yeah.
all the mountainous scenery and stuff. And I started seeing these toy photographers, like the bigger ones, like Sergeant Bananas and stuff like that. And this was years ago, but he was still well known. And I was just like, wow, like how are these guys doing this stuff? All I had was a phone and whatnot. But I just started trying it. I had 5 or 10 minutes to kill here and there while I was doing my drive, and I just pull off the side of the highway in the desert and walk out in the desert and start shooting some stuff. And I mean, it just rolled from there, And then I got into an actual DSLR and shooting with, a remote and using practical effects and learning lighting and all that stuff. And I'm still learning every day. Every time I do a shoot, it's like, oh, well, how did so and so do that? I need to try to get that effect or whatever, or that kind of lighting, or So it's definitely a learning curve. Still.
Do you shoot pretty much exclusively the 6-inch scale?
Pretty much. I do mostly Star Wars 6-inch. I'll do some fig arts and stuff here and there to mix in. I do have a few Marvel figures and stuff like that, but mainly it's Star Wars and mainly 6-inch. I collect a lot of 6 scale, so the 12-inch figures, but Hot Toys are expensive. I'm not taking those out in the desert. I've done it a couple times, but it's your basic them just standing there pose. There's no dirt flying at them, or fireworks or any of that.
Right. Yeah, no. When
I see people doing that though, and I'm just, I give them credit because they're amazing pictures.
Right.
But I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's an expensive piece.
Like, I'd like to pass mine down to my kids one day.
Yeah.
He won't have any left.
Right. That's too funny. Too funny. It's funny how it seems like Star Wars seems to be the thing that everyone goes back to. Like it's always, that's the catalyst for a lot of people with their collecting, with their toy obsession, or
Right. Or I find there's a lot of like a Marvel collector, and they say they're like exclusively Marvel collector, but you go to their house and they have a bunch of Star Wars stuff.
Oh yeah.
Or like the vintage stuff,
Right.
they kept hold of and stuff like that.
It's hard to be exclusive. Like I try to set rules for my collecting, but
You don't have any rules.
well, I think I do, but there's always a way to connect it to somewhere. It's like,
Also true.
like one of my things is I try to collect only X-Men. But it's like, oh, well, he was in an X-Men comic book once, so I'll get that.
Right.
Boba Fett was in an X-Men comic book.
Oh, there you go. So
See,
now you can get yourself a Boba Fett collection.
Trivia for you.
You can justify it now.
Exactly, that's the thing. It's hard to be an exclusive collector, I think.
Well, and I stopped, like I said, I went exclusively Star Wars, exclusively 6 scale and stuff like that, and 6-inch. And then, just because of toy photography, I've started buying, I got a Freddie Mercury arts figure. I got Daft Punk figures. I bought, it's this little band called K-On, these little Figma figures, but they all come with 6 scale or 12 scale instruments and stuff. And I love doing like Marvel and Star Wars mashups.
Right,
like I really want to get that Thanos that Fig Arts makes, so I can do him in the Death Star, like shooting the shit with Darth Vader or whatever, So,
So the shot with the Rock Band, like the Star Wars character, is
Vader
is
band
that
one.
using those instruments that you're talking about?
Yeah, and then I actually have one of my friends, R2K Troopers on Instagram. He lives out in Singapore, and he's amazing with 3D printing work. So, and he used to be a guitar player, so he designed and printed me some amps for him. So I got an orange amp, got a Marshall half stack, a big Ampeg stack, and he made me like a little Roland for the keyboard player.
That's amazing.
But, they look legitimate. He gave me the files because it's we basically made decals for the front, for the mesh and the knobs and all that. So if I ever get water on it or whatever, he gave me the files so I can just print that decal back. And
Where do you get decals printed at?
I do Photoshop and all that, so I could just
so you
do
print
it on
sticker
there, and then
paper.
you stick
Oh,
the
okay.
paper.
Yeah, that makes sense.
nice.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I know no one's going to be able to see this, but in that one,
Yeah,
you
it's
did,
the little Roland amp there, and that's actually the guitar from the NECA Metallica figures.
and then that's cool. Are those just stickers on the back? He's got all the.
That's just cardstock. I printed those on.
It's like the original packaging.
Yeah,
I know.
explain what we're
I know. We're,
So I have
We'll show it on the video.
So I have a picture of
or the audio portion of
He's
it.
got like a vintage Star Wars collection on his wall, and I basically just went in and I grabbed the images off Google or whatever, put them in Photoshop, scaled them down, and just printed them out on paper.
So cool.
That's
taped
cool.
it to
That's
the
really
wall.
cool.
And then I actually made the little Hot Toys boxes, and those were a little more complex because I found a box template, like to make an actual box, and I shrunk it down that small. And then I printed that on it. So I'm sitting
then
here
you had to,
like
like,
folding
fill the
up this
boxes?
little box.
Holy
yeah,
cow.
and I did like 12 of them.
Oh my
That's
God.
crazy.
But I love doing.
detail
I
comes
love
out.
those details.
Yeah.
in
The detail is
photos.
incredible.
Oh yeah,
It shows.
it is. That's amazing.
I love putting into that one.
I watch a lot of tutorials on YouTube. People making like foam dioramas and stuff like that. Anytime I want to try something, it's like at least 8 hours of watching
Right.
tutorial stuff. So I'm not
Wow.
wasting materials or wasting my time and getting frustrated.
Yeah.
Because that can turn you off of it, if
Right.
you're all excited doing, I want this foam piece to look like a brick wall or something.
Yeah.
Like, like it does on YouTube and say it's not coming out, it can be frustrating. You know?
Right,
It's
right.
like, it took all this time on it, you know, money, stuff like that.
So this has really led through multiple hobbies.
Oh, definitely.
Diorama building,
Dioramas, I've
accessories.
got into like, kit bashing with figures and stuff.
Yeah.
So like I'll buy cheap Marvel figures and pull them apart. Like you put them in hot water so they just pop apart easily.
Right.
And
Yeah.
configure them different, you know, maybe with some Star Wars pieces and then paint them different and stuff like that. And it's fun.
That's cool.
It's cool seeing your own creation and then being able to take a photo of like your own Star Wars character in the Death Star setting, you know.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Oh, who's that guy?"
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's like I just made him. I didn't think of a backstory.
Say that's another
New
hobby.
hobby.
Now you got to think
New
of
hobby.
backstory.
Now I gotta write books
Now
and
you
all
gotta write
this.
fiction, the whole 9 yards go with it.
Oh, toy photography.
So before you take figures out, say into the desert and do some shooting, do you do a lot of customizing of the actual figures themselves? I mean, do you take like, you know, a $20 Black Series figure and mark it up, dirty it up, paint it up?
Lately I have because, like I said, I started with the kit bashing and stuff. Well, that basically just spawned off of me weathering. Remember that 4-pack of stormtroopers that came with the one trooper with just like the 2 blast marks that look really bad? It was like an Entertainment Earth
Yeah, it was an
something.
exclusive, yeah.
Well, it's like everyone hates that figure. I'm not going to use him for photos because I'm going to have to like Photoshop out these blasts or something.
Yeah,
so I was
just
like,
random,
I'm going to
yeah.
try my hand at weathering for the first time. And it came out cool. He actually ended up looking like the Mimban Trooper. And the Black Series page featured it, and he thought that I was trying to make a Mimban Trooper. I hadn't even seen the Mimban Troopers at this point. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, but
How cool.
so yeah, I mean, now though I've gotten into like I bought that Cable figure from the Deadpool wave.
Right,
And I,
yeah.
I hit
It's
him
really
with
dope.
a coat of flat clear coat, and
Yeah.
it gets rid of like the glossy clothes
Oh,
and like
okay.
hair and stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, even
That's
if you
a
don't
great
want to
figure.
weather them or you don't think you're good at painting and stuff like
a
that,
really good idea.
just hit them with some flat coat and. It makes them look a lot more realistic, especially if you're going out in the desert, you know,
Yeah.
and they're gonna get dust
Sun,
clean
yeah,
to
yeah,
them
yeah.
and stuff.
Well, that makes a big difference when you see those, you know, the shots that people do of the, I mean, since the dewback and the Sand Trooper came out, like that's been everybody's
Yeah.
kind of staple shot. I haven't even opened mine yet. It's like still sitting up there. I'm like, I can't bring myself, but that's another show. Bring myself to open it up, but so yeah, it's
Dewback
like,
show.
The
whole
dewback.
show
You
about
gotta
the
like
dewback.
open it though. I mean, you can't even see the dewback in the box.
I know.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I only bought one, so it's like
That
if I don't
thing
buy
is
two or
amazing,
something,
yeah.
like. But yeah, everybody's shooting it. It looks killer. But that's what makes the difference in the shot is the weathering on the trooper and the, you know, that kind of grittiness.
Yeah, they did a great job on the new Trooper.
Yeah.
As opposed to the older ones. Yeah, yeah, there it is right there.
Again, we apologize because you can't see it. We'll have to figure out a way for you to see it.
Yes, that's terrible.
What are those things
So-
in Star Trek? The tribbles? It's like someone just
Yeah,
took one
yeah, it
of those
looks
and just like.
melted it to him. Screen printed it on.
That's exactly what it looks like.
That's awesome.
So I basically just sanded those off and
Yeah.
then weathered them. You know?
Sure, yeah.
And I mean, they show through a little bit still, but with all the weathering, it's like, it looks pretty cool.
You know, there was some dude at Hasbro that was like, "Look at this, man. This is awesome." No,
You have to bring it in front of somebody.
no.
Yeah,
no.
somebody greenlighted it.
Yeah. Come on, Hasbro. Get your head in the game.
Well, and even with these new figures, they're using this new face print technology, you know, and it's like a couple of them. I think it's real hit or miss. A couple
Yeah,
of them,
I agree
like,
with you.
The DJ figure,
Yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't look like
Yeah,
him
it doesn't
at all,
even. Right.
you know?
Yeah.
But then like the Kiara figure, or whatever her name is,
Right,
from Solo,
from
she
Solo,
looks
yeah.
great. It looks.
Yeah, it looks
I mean, it
just
doesn't.
like her,
It
yeah.
doesn't look just like her.
But it's still
It
close.
looks really good.
It's
Right.
really
you know?
close, yeah.
He's kind of like he's got like droopy kind of eyes and stuff. I don't know if
Yeah,
I just got a
that's
messed
a-
up one or.
No, it's
No.
a bad looking figure.
And then I was hunting that Chewbacca, that new Chewbacca figure.
Yeah.
And like 4 out of the 5 I was finding, it was like we had a lazy eye or like,
Right.
you know, it's painted up here, you know. Or,
Well, it's funny because on some of the groups that we belong to on Facebook, people will post that too, and they're like, "Oh, what happened to this guy?" It's,
It's the cross-eyed variant.
yeah, it's not
super rare
exactly.
variant.
Oh, it comes with corrective lenses. It's okay.
That's just Disney cutting corners. That's all that is.
Don't say that. We'll get sued.
Don't say the D
Well,
word.
you can blurb that out, you know. Samuel Jackson, that one out.
Dwayne Johnson. for the
Dwayne,
D-word.
yeah, D word. Dwayne Johnson for the D word.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, he won't care because any publicity he gets is good. So. Go see Shazam. Oh, he's not even in it. What am I saying? It's gonna be the next one.
Skyscraper.
Oh.
Save that.
Yeah, let's not talk about that one. Let's not talk about
I haven't
that
seen
one.
it, but somehow any movie Dwayne Johnson's in is amazing. I don't know. You're always like, this movie.
It's at least
sucks.
entertaining.
You watch it, and you're like, it's
Easily.
pretty good. San Andreas, you know. Was
Yeah.
this gonna
New
suck?
Jumanji.
Yeah, I want to see. I still haven't seen Rampage.
I haven't watched it either.
Yeah, that's funny.
We didn't see Rampage.
Something
No,
like
but
a
we're
weird-
going to. Oh,
Hello.
That's all right.
Hello.
we could just
Oh.
take an organic pause.
Yeah. Call from who? Scoot in.
Sorry.
That's all right.
We'll edit this
Hey,
out.
stuff happens. Be embarrassing if they said my chlamydia test came back positive.
I knew it.
I'm out. I'm done.
Continue.
I'm done.
That was the perfect spot to edit right back.
Oh my goodness. Hold on, you made me cry.
Sorry.
With that.
So where do you get ideas for shots? How do you where do you get inspiration?
Man,
Just
that's tough to say
location?
because I mean I feel like I've been dry with thoughts the past like 2-3 weeks. I mean it's a mix of the heat and the weather.
It's
and-
hard to go out when it's 115
Right.
out. And
Yeah, in case you don't know, we're based in Vegas. It's very hot right now in summertime.
I think they know because it's Vegas.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Good point.
It is in the
Good
title.
point. Just gonna drink right now.
Yeah, but sometimes I mean I'll be sitting on the couch or you know I'll be at work even and I'll have an idea pop in my head and I'll be like, oh, I can't wait to get home. And
You write it down.
sometimes, yeah, or, you know, I got a little
Yeah.
list on my board like of shots that might be pretty complex setups that I'll have to think out and stuff, and I write those kind of things down. But anything that's just kind of like a quick setup or whatever, it's usually just spur of the moment, or like the extent would be maybe like I'm at home and I get a new figure and I kind of get him in a cool pose there, and I don't want to like disrupt that pose, so I'll like sit him on my car seat,
Yeah.
like on the speeder bike or whatever, you know, and like drive all carefully. But yeah, I mean, they come from looking at other toy photographers,
Yeah.
looking at watching movies. I was watching Ready Player One last night, and I was just getting all kinds of cool ideas.
Yeah.
Just like that big battle scene near the end of the movie. I'm just like, wow. If I could have all these characters, like that Iron Giant figure
Oh,
in there,
yeah,
like
uh-huh.
have him raining down on some
Yeah,
troopers or something.
You got to pause that and like try and see who's all in there. I mean,
Yeah.
there's got to be
Yeah.
a Boba Fett in there
There's-
somewhere.
Yeah, there's just so many. It's,
I don't know about that, Rob. I don't think they could cross that. They mentioned the Millennium Falcon in there, but
Yeah.
I don't
know
think
if
they could cross
saw
that.
any actual
Yeah, I
Star
don't
Wars.
think-
They didn't
No.
see it, but they
But
mentioned
they're
it.
Which you'd think George would let him because they're
Right,
good buddies, you
right.
know.
Right,
So,
but you know,
because in the book, doesn't he? I thought in
the
book-
Dwayne Johnson's got control of that now. So
That's true. Good job,
oh
Rock.
man, can't wait to go to Dwayne Johnson when this
Yeah.
is
Once it opens.
that movie did have Battletoads in it. I don't know if anybody else saw that.
I was playing
What a crazy
Battletoads the
reference.
other day, actually.
Yeah?
Oh, that's funny.
I have all things to see. I was like, is it Battletoads? Like, I haven't seen that reference since the 90s. Of all things, so. Anyway, cool movie if you haven't seen it.
What movie?
Ready Player One.
Oh, we saw that.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
Battletoads.
Wait, Battletoads?
Battletoads are in.
I thought he
No.
was talking about Rampage.
No.
Are there Battletoads in Rampage?
No.
I hope so. I haven't seen the movie yet.
What are Battletoads?
Who's the producer of this show? Can you get back on track,
Nintendo
please?
game.
Come on. Hello.
Okay.
Inspiration.
And so is it all just video game characters? Is that what the deal is?
No,
No,
it's,
no, not
it's like
necessarily.
it's all pop
No,
culture.
we saw it, but
Oh,
you know,
it's all like
it all kind of.
mainly late 70s and 80s pop culture.
I think I saw Cubert.
Even into now, they had Halo.
Was Cubert in it?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there was new stuff in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause they had
Rocket
Gundams
launcher and all
That's
that.
what they did.
yeah.
They had Firefly.
No
Come
Power
jumps off,
Rangers from what I saw.
Serenity.
Oh, really? I just saw the new Power Rangers movie, by the way, finally.
Movies are another.
I know. It's just,
Go
organic.
straight off topic.
Stay on target.
Very strict here.
So, like, when you're watching a movie like that, then do you jot notes down to say, like,
No,
or just,
I'm too
if
lazy
it sticks,
for
it
that.
sticks?
Yeah, I'm too lazy for that.
Just take a visual, like a
Yeah, I mean, there was
mental
probably a
photograph.
million thoughts that
Yeah.
went through my head that I can't remember now. But I mean, if it was like, I can't really give away the idea. I don't want somebody
Right,
to steal
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
My friend had
We get it,
gave
we
me
get
a
it.
cool idea for a shot one day.
Yeah.
and it's gonna take some setup and stuff. You know, I'm
Right.
gonna have to figure things out.
Mhm.
It involves a sarlacc pit, so I'm gonna have to figure out how I can do that in the ground.
Yeah.
But so I just, I wrote it down on my dry erase board
Right,
out in
yeah.
the garage.
Mhm.
It's been sitting up there for months.
Yeah, cool.
I'll probably wait till it's cold outside.
Yeah, so you
to-
can do something.
So, and I mean, a lot of the time when you do come up with a cool shot at home and then you go out there, it's easy because it's like you set up real quick, snap, snap, snap.
You already have it
I'm
all.
good. I'm ready to go. It's hot out
Mhm.
here.
Yeah.
If you go out there with no idea, you're bending down, you're in the heat, or
Right.
kneeling in the heat, and you're trying to get your figure to stand with
Yeah.
wire and this and that. It's a lot easier if you figure that stuff out at home, but it just doesn't always happen that way. You know what I mean?
Do you have some favorite locales
Oh,
that
yeah.
you shoot at?
Yeah, I usually go. It's just Blue Diamond and Buffalo. Basically, it's
Mhm.
Buffalo ends, and then you turn to right, and it's
Yeah.
right behind the neighborhood right there.
Oh, okay.
It's just the edge of town.
Mhm.
Well, it's just the edge of town. You can climb up over the wash, and it's just all desert out there. So it looks like you're in the middle of nowhere, but
Oh,
there's a
nice.
neighborhood right behind you.
Yeah.
But perfect for
Rhodes Ranch?
sunsets right there and everything. Yeah, a little south of Rhodes Ranch.
Mhm.
Yeah. That spot, I go out to the wetlands park quite a bit now
Mhm.
to get like swampier, green kind of shots.
Yeah. That area back there by the wetlands where that like river is,
Yeah.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, that's where I go down
Went
by the
down there a
water
couple
and
times.
stuff.
I was like, wow, that's really.
Can you get to the
different.
water? I've never been down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's dirty. It's gross water.
Yeah, it
but
is.
it's-
Mud.
It looks cool in the background shots or whatever. Or,
Yeah.
put your figures knee deep in it and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, I dig
Disinfect.
that. I see a lot of that.
Yes, all the sludge of Las Vegas. Right
I've been
there.
wanting to I have a swamp thing. Take my swamp thing down there.
To the swamp.
Yeah.
Your other Squatch, Swamp Thing.
He's very squatchy. What about like someone who's trying to get into the hobby of toy photography? What would your suggestions be for them?
Follow me. No.
Yeah. Good one on Instagram, BobaPat.
I mean, just try it out. Start with your phone. I did my phone for about two or 3 years doing the photography stuff. I wasn't as into it as I am now. I try and get out daily and do it now that I have a camera and I've spent a lot of money on it, on
Yeah.
the hobby of it, Because I don't use my camera for anything else. I take the occasional family pictures and stuff with it,
Right.
but the reason I bought it was for toy
For toy.
photography. I don't go out and shoot flowers or nature and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So know that you want to invest money in it.
Mhm.
Like be sure that that's what you want to invest the money in, because you don't want to spend that money on a camera and just have
Yeah.
it sit there.
Right. Did you get into it with the idea of maybe this could be lucrative for me, I can make some money out of it, or did you just get in it for the pure enjoyment of?
Yeah, it was
Collecting
pure
and-
enjoyment, and
Yeah.
I'd say lately though it's gotten to where I've been noticed more.
Right.
I see a lot of my friends, maybe not even just money. It's just cool that a lot of the people I know out there, they get free toys sent to them by
Yeah.
Hasbro. Or,
Yeah, how do
Yeah,
you-
that would be
or
cool.
Tamashii
Yeah.
Nations or
Right.
Bandai or whatever, And a lot of my closer Instagram friends are those guys. They get the
Mhm.
free stuff. They were at Comic-Con signing prints at the
Oh,
the
yeah, that would
Figuarts
be so
booth
cool,
and stuff,
yeah.
Wow.
I'd like to get to that point. I don't
Right.
want to. I've sent messages to some of the companies
Yeah.
and just hinted hey, I do photography, hinting sponsorship and stuff like that.
So do you have
no
a,
responses? But
a hashtag that you encourage people to? So-
there's a million. If you are gonna get into the toy photography, just
No, I mean
look-
like for you to get you more followers, so we can get you some free toys.
oh,
Just hashtag BobaPat or just
no. Just
share, like that kind of stuff.
you could just tag me in it or
Yeah.
whatever, But
Let's work on getting us free toys.
Well, hey,
first.
You guys spread the love still.
We're the biggest
I
toy
haven't,
squad.
haven't scored any free toys yet.
Yeah.
That would be
That would be
that'd
the
be
goal.
one of the goals.
Yeah,
'cause
for sure.
You do spend a lot of money on these toys, and it'd
Right.
be cool
Absolutely.
to have them recognize that and be like, oh, this guy's giving us free promotion,
Right.
essentially.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I think that's why they have started sending out free toys, because they realize Sergeant Bananas, for instance, it's like he's got 65,000 followers on Instagram. You know,
Right.
He averages 5,000-6,000 likes a photo in a couple days. It's like those are potential customers that are going to be buying your next product.
For sure.
That they're usually sending him a little ahead of time so he can show it off and
Right.
stuff. You know,
That's what I
I
was
think
gonna
that's
say, that'd be
really
so
cool
cool.
too. Like getting it first. You know, being like you know you're the first person shooting this toy. You know.
Yep.
There's been a couple moments, like when the Ray Speeder came out, the Black Series Ray Speeder.
Right.
My friend out in California, all he does is travel conventions, West Coast Fun Toys on Instagram. He travels conventions and he's a Hasbro retailer. So he gets all the stuff and he lives near their distribution center. So sometimes he scores and gets stuff a week or two early. So I bought that off him. He sent it. I got it within like a day, and it was like 2 weeks before they released it. You know,
Nice.
so I was already out there taking pictures, and you know that's a surefire way to get like Black Series to feature your shot or something. You know, which you know you wake up to a Black Series feature. It usually comes with some follows and stuff like
Right.
that. So
Nice.
it all just feeds off itself and rolls off itself. And like you're saying with hashtags, I have like on my clipboard or whatever on my phone. Whenever I post a picture, I use the same exact paragraph of hashtags or whatever, you know. And it's the max you can put. Like, so if I want to change one, or if I'm not using space walls, I'll delete that out and add like
Right.
you know Wolverine or whatever I'm doing in the shot or something.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I used to make fun of hashtags when they
Yeah.
first came out and stuff. Hashtag
I think
this,
everybody
hashtag
did.
that.
Yeah, everybody did. But
That's
now
how
it's-
you
have
see
to.
what people are doing. That's what you're
Yep.
into, you know what I
Yep,
mean?
it's a
It's
marketable
whether it's
thing now.
shoes or cars or toy photography. You know?
Have you ever experimented with Legos or Funko Pop figures? Does that kind of thing interest you, or you pretty much go for the more
I like
realistic?
articulation. Even like I was messing with these before we started filming. It's hard to get them in like a good stance, like with a Black Series figure, you know.
Yeah.
I love just articulation. I love when people look at my photos and they'll be like, "Oh, those are toys," you know, like you catch them by
Yeah,
surprise
right.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll even go in Photoshop sometimes and I'll edit out their joints on their knees if it's
Okay.
like really blatantly there, you know.
Yeah.
I don't like to do it too much because then it's like it's not really a Black Series figure anymore.
Yeah.
So,
Do you
know.
get crap from the purists? The no.
You can. I mean, I have some friends actually. A local photographer, Ronin314.
Everybody's getting a shout out.
He strictly like loves that he only shoots on iPhone. Loves that he only uses iPhone apps and no Photoshop and all practical effects. And
Right.
people are really into that. I love that I use practical effects like real dust or rain, mist, and snow, like flour for snow and stuff like that.
That's what I was going to ask you, if you could expand on what practical effects meant.
Right. So say I'm out in the desert and I want to get like Ray's speeder flying through the desert, and I don't just want it sitting there on a stand. You know,
Right.
It just looks like it's sitting on a stand. So I'll do. I get like canned duster, like you dust your keyboard with. You know, you can get like a 4-pack for $12 or whatever,
Right.
and it'll last a long time if you use it conservatively. But you get a remote trigger on your camera, or I know some of my friends that use iPhone. They use like video, and they'll take stills out of it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that way you do your burst of, dust or whatever, and then you're snap, 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 snap. You're getting
Right.
a bunch of pictures. But then sometimes I'll take it in Photoshop and I'll blend a couple of those. Maybe there's some debris on this side in one
Yeah.
shot and not enough over here or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'll blend those shots. But definitely like using a tripod and stuff, or I use like a beanbag kind of tripod because I'm always ground
Get
level.
down low.
Right. And you can make one of those with like a Ziploc bag and rice or whatever. It's actually the best tripod I've ever used for
Oh, really?
toy photography because it's hard enough, it keeps its shape,
Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
But so you want to make sure you have a tripod if you're doing any kind of blending of photos. That way you're not having any movement in the figure, or you're not going to be able to line them up and stuff. What else? Practical effects. There's a company called Enola Gay out of Pahrump. You can follow them at Enola Gay USA. They make smoke grenades. They're considered like signal flare smoke grenades, kind of like different colors. They have like a range from like pinks to blues, blacks, whites, And they actually just, my friend Daniel Castro gave me a sample pack of like 40 of them. Because he wants to get out there and get some footage of me using them behind the scenes for the company and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But, so I would go out there, you know, same thing. You get your remote, your tripod, you get it set up, and you can use that smoke and kind of move it around and get like an atmosphere around your figure.
Cool.
So that's, you know, that's considered practical effects,
Right.
I guess. Fireworks, crackling balls, stuff like that. It's kind of hard because it's illegal out here. Flour, if you want a snow scene or whatever, you can get like a box, cut everything but the bottom off, you know, fill it with flour, and you can get like a sifter, like a real thin mesh sifter to get like falling snow and stuff like that, or to get a little bit on him before you take the shot, like he's been in the snow for a while. It's just like those little details, you know.
Right.
And I see those in my friends' shots and other people's shots.
Yeah.
And it inspires you to be like push it an extra level in your
just
next
to get-
pictures, you know, like oh, he had like that scarf, but like your picture, that's where it was. He had
Indiana Jones.
he showed me this Indiana Jones diorama kind of thing he made at work, and the scarf was made out of felt, so it keeps its form, you know.
Yeah.
It's like
So it looks like the wind's coming.
it looks like he's hauling away from that, that
The giant
snowball.
snowball.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's awesome. Do you guys have any other questions, or do you want to get to our challenge?
I think we should get to the challenge. I'm excited about this.
Let me ask one more thing, just real quickly, for people who are out there who don't necessarily want to go invest in a camera, but they want to start toy photography. You said you had mentioned a friend who is proud of the fact that he just shoots with his iPhone.
Yeah.
Not that just shoots with it, because that is a great camera on an
Oh,
iPhone.
yeah.
But I mean, is that a feasible way for people to do quality toy photography
Definitely.
just with their phone?
Yeah, there's some like lightsaber effects apps out there now that are strictly for, you know, basically toy photography. 'Cause, I mean, why else would they make an app to just add a lightsaber effect
Right,
on
yeah.
your screen? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's for toy photographers. Like, I'm pretty sure. I feel bad. I can't remember this guy's name, his tag. First one I've forgotten. There was a guy out there that I follow. He actually developed an app and like a Kickstarter kind of thing, and it got funded. So it's an app now, and it's a lightsaber effects app, you know. And it not only does the blade, but you can add like a glow on your figure or like on the background, kind of. So it doesn't just look like a light blade there. It actually gives the
reflecting on the
reflection
character.
on the
Oh,
character.
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing it all wrong. I use actual lasers.
Yeah, he uses a laser.
like literal lasers. I have to point it down where the
Into the
lightsaber is.
lightsaber.
Into the lightsaber.
It
So
works.
I have to get it intricate.
Oh yeah, it does work.
It's
That's
sick,
hard as
yeah.
hell.
I mean, yeah, but you know what? It's kind of worth it because I get to say I use actual lasers in this photo.
Yep, you're using practical effects. Because when I do a lightsaber, it's all Photoshop. Like, if I'm gonna add the glow in Photoshop, I add the glow on the guy in Photoshop.
Right.
Sometimes if I'm doing indoor shoots, like with my space walls or something, and I have extra lights, I'll try and like get some red light or whatever shining at him a bit. But it's hard because you're lighting up more than what it would if it was just him holding it. You know, you're getting a lot of the background.
It's hard to
Yeah.
get very
Right.
precise lighting
With
at
that small scale, yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But before we do the challenge, I forgot. You know, you did some hunting last week, and you found something.
Oh yeah,
that
actually,
is
this was
relevant to
kinda
our
cool.
discussion.
Yes, we like to talk about kind of stuff we find out in the wild. And I was at Zia Records the other day and found actually a book on toy photography.
Cool.
Which I don't know if you ever seen this book or Pop Culture Photography of Daniel Picard, and obviously probably a lot of photoshops and whatnot. But it's actually a really cool book that I picked up.
Oh, that's cool.
Real cheap at Zia Records. So, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, it's a little boring for people who are just listening to the podcast, but you should look this guy up. Daniel
True story.
Picard, Figure Fantasy is the name of the book.
We'll add something in post.
Forward by Simon Pegg. Did you know that?
Yes, I did because I read it.
Oh, I didn't read that.
If you're just listening, just close your eyes, visualize.
And Afterward by Kevin Smith. So,
I see a
The
lot
Kevin
of, I'm not sure what it's
Yes.
called, but like that Superman I was,
Nice.
where you stand on the lifeguard tower.
yeah.
I know how they do that, I just haven't messed with it yet, but you'll basically take like a shot. So if you want to like say scale this figure up and make him look like he's standing on a real lifeguard tower,
Yeah.
you would take that lifeguard tower and get the shot, and then you want to get a shot of the figure with that exact lighting that's getting the lighthouse, but
Yeah.
obviously not with the lighthouse, so
Right.
maybe like over in the sand or something. And then in Photoshop, when you go and put him in there, he has that correct
That's it.
lighting.
Oh,
it doesn't
wow.
look like you took a photo of someone and then
Yeah,
you took a
just
photo of some other
spliced it
time.
in there or whatever,
Yeah,
yeah.
Put them
yeah,
together.
Yeah, that.
That one you're talking about.
Yeah, my
So
friend
he added-
Zigzag Zoom does that stuff on Instagram.
Wow.
We should be counting all the shout outs.
I know.
That's awesome. Man.
So, anyways, that's a cool book. I thought you might
Yeah, that is
get a
cool.
kick out of seeing that. And there's like
There's Boba
there's a
Fett.
bunch of Boba Fett in here too.
Nothing wrong with
Oh, look at
that.
that. Boba with Harley.
Yeah.
Oh, why do they have a battle droid
See,
here?
he did that. That's him standing there.
With the
Oh,
toys.
yeah.
The guy that
The
owns
toys,
his
yeah.
figures holding his toys, but then he also shot the
So
toys
those are the
separate.
toys and he-
and
Okay.
put them in Photoshop. Well, he's giving them the bunny ears and everything. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we'll put the picture up on the. But if you're
On the
just
video
listening, you're out of luck. So you have to go to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's right.
And watch the video.
Did you want to mention ready sets?
Well, that's what we're going to get to right now. Good segue, producer. I like that. So we have a little challenge for you.
Mm-hmm.
So at the last ToyCon here in Vegas, we met the gentlemen who are behind Ready Sets, and I think you said that you
Yeah. I sent him a
talked to them as
message
well.
today. Yeah.
So these guys put together display
Playset.
play sets,
Diorama.
diorama. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, you can use it for, my daughter loves it. She puts all of her Transformers and all that kind of stuff on there. She actually plays with the toy. And then people like us use it for photography or for display or whatever. So this was the exclusive that they had at the Las Vegas Toy Con.
Let's get out of the way.
It is for 3 3/4 inch or like Lego or smaller figs. So we figured we'd give you a little time challenge here. We got some stormtroopers.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna give you about 10 minutes to go ahead and set up a shot.
We're not going to make you sit and listen.
and listen to
for 10 minutes.
yeah, so we'll edit that part. But set up a shot and then we'll put it on our
Sounds good.
Facebook page, our Instagram page, and
Cool. Sounds
do the
good.
same or whatever. And time starts now.
All right. Can I use Sasquatch?
Yeah, you can.
Sorry, I premeditated it a little bit. I saw a video on these guys' page where they threw one of them off the roof.
Oh yeah,
and
it's still
right
right
back up. And they threw like some plastic one. They're like,
well, it holds my cat because I threw my cat on it just to see, and it held her. So
that's good.
Seriously?
it did. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, they're cool. They're really sturdy.
How much are they?
It's a great product.
Oh, I don't even remember.
I
think
the big one was a
Was it
90.
about
It was it was about
Somewhere between 90 and
100.
They're real big too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the big one is. It is.
If
big.
you get the big one on Kickstarter right now, it's $65.
Yeah, it's a really good deal. on
Yeah, we're
Kickstarter.
back. So we should talk
Okay.
about this because we like
Yes.
Ready Sets and we
That's right.
we want to give Ready Sets a shout out.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they're doing that set that Pat was just shooting with. That's the urban play set.
And that's the small
The
one.
small one.
That's the exclusive that they did for the Vegas Toy Con. The actual urban playset is a lot bigger.
Yeah, it's
It's
perfect
scale.
for 6
yeah,
inch
6 inch
scale. And then they're currently doing a Kickstarter. They just started it like about a week ago, I think.
Yeah,
or
I think
maybe
so,
10
something
days
like that.
ago or so, where they're doing a space base. And again, they're doing both sizes, 3 3/4 and 6 inch. And not only is it great for toy photography, but kids love to play
Yeah,
with it.
they do, yeah.
Your daughter loves
My
to
daughter
play
loves-
with it. They're
loves
real sturdy. They're detailed. They've got tons of nooks and crannies and fun. little
That's the cool
details.
thing. Like every time you look at it, you find another angle, or you find a different alleyway, or something.
Well, like you
just
were
to
showing
do,
me
yeah.
some you were messing with, like
Yeah.
the Moon Knight looking down out the
Right.
window and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I didn't even know that room was on
Yeah.
the back side of it.
I did one with Morbius was in the sewer, and I poked the sewer lid up, and he's like looking up from the sewer lid.
Yeah, they really throw a lot of attention to detail in it.
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, it's a really highly recommended.
And the Kickstarter for the big one right now, for the 6 inch scale one is, I think you can get it for $65, and then there's a little bit of shipping on top of that.
And there's-
that's cheaper than it's going to be when it comes out.
Right,
I'm
and then
sure.
there's extras that come with that too. There's like another set that they're going to send
I think
you.
they give you a little
folding set or
digital,
something,
yeah.
diorama or
So-
something. So
Plus,
definitely check them out.
Yeah, we want to make sure this gets funded, and because I want to shoot with this thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It looks fun.
I just want to put my stuff on it.
I know, it's like, I wish I had the room to like display that thing.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it's
Pretty
cool.
cool.
It's a good thing it folds up. And
Right.
That thing.
That's the other thing
That's
that's
a
nice
key-
because it
that's
does.
key.
It folds up nice, and you can slip it in little places.
Right,
and,
yeah.
So.
Well,
Well, we're gonna kind of wrap this one up. We want to thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
Yeah, thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
me. Thanks for having me. It was
a lot
fun.
of fun.
We usually like to wrap up our SquadCast with a little versus segment. We kind of touched on this a little bit as you were talking, but we like to just pose a question, and then to those of you that are listening or those of you that are watching, in the comments below, let us know your thoughts. Again, there's no right or wrong answer. Don't get vicious with each other. Just preference. So here we're talking, does size matter? So we're talking about
toys, right?
Right here.
not in this scene, but just in
toy
toys in
photography.
general, and toy photography, and toy collecting. Which one do you prefer? Do you prefer the 6-inch size versus the 3 3/4 inch size? Granted, we know that there's everything from minifigs up through,
Right.
all kinds of stuff. But we usually like to take, one person that likes one and the other and just give you about 20 30 seconds to state your case of which one you think is better and why, and then those of you that are listening, go ahead and put in your comments what you guys think as well.
So who's taking what position?
Yeah, you're taking 3 3/4 scale.
Yeah,
position.
Yeah, that's
that
what I'm saying.
and Legos. I mean, I'll
And
take
Legos.
whatever.
Well,
Frank likes it
you
small.
got, yeah.
So why do you like it small?
Well, one, because they're affordable.
Oh, there you go.
That's true, yeah.
I can't go down that rabbit hole of buying the 6-inch figures because they're just, I have too many of everything else. Like, it's just easier to get in volumes, like especially with if you're going down the Lego route, you can build all kinds of different sets and whatever to have a background.
Right.
It's just so versatile, and it's easier to make sets like that. Granted, it will take a little time, but I'm just saying in general. But again, the 3.75 here are just, I have so many of them, and I can't see myself being able to get rid of them for the price to be able to start on the go
Right,
down that other
right.
rabbit hole. I can't. As much as I would love to do that, I just can't.
So affordability.
Affordability for me, all the way for sure. I mean, obviously, the details you can get on the 6-inch
Right,
figures is
right.
just so much better. On as you go up, obviously
Yeah,
the
yeah,
detail gets
obviously, yeah.
greater and greater, but the price also greater and greater as well,
Yeah,
like
you're paying-
extensively
yeah.
greater.
You're paying for that detail. You know?
Absolutely. So.
All
I
right.
was just thinking there's kind of a certain charm to the smaller figures, for a photo. I mean, they obviously don't look real,
Right.
but, in a setting like this, they...
Well, and it is cool sometimes when you're doing a toy photo to have that cutesy. It's definitely toys look. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
Or like we were talking about earlier, like he's got the micro machines guys. I always want to do shots where it's toys playing with smaller toys. You know what
Yep.
I mean? Or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like a Hot Toys playing with a Lego figure or
Right.
something like that. You know?
Yeah.
But then the 6-inch, obviously, the detail...
Right.
Yeah,
you're
far as-
definitely stepping up a notch from the 3 3/4 with the detail on the 6-inch.
Rick?
And articulation. I do both. I have both.
Yeah.
I like the newer 3 3/4 inch, like the Marvel ones that they did, and then the G.I. Joe 25th anniversary. I think those are killer, and their articulation's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But I went down the Marvel Legends rabbit hole, and I like them both.
Can you climb back out?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know if we can get out of that one.
I like
You
them
can't
both.
climb back out of the
Not at all.
six-
Now when they're doing
6-inch
build a
hole.
figures,
That's why I don't.
things.
That's why I will not go in.
Yeah.
You cannot climb out of the 6-inch hole.
Yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts?
No, I just
No?
appreciate you guys having me on. It was fun. It's fun to, share the love that we all
Yeah.
have for this kind of stuff. And,
For sure.
And tell people where they can find you and your work.
you can find me on Instagram at BobaPat, Facebook at BobaPat Toy Photography, and Twitter at BobaPat.
Right on.
Yep.
And you can find us, Vegas Toy Squad, on our Vegas Toy Squad Instagram, Facebook page, and our YouTube page. So
Right.
thank you guys for tuning in.
Yep. We'll see you next time.
All right, Vegas Toy
See you next
Squad,
time.
Out.
out.